pretend, we score the goal!
Gentlemen, welcome to episode 17 of the Coach Killers podcast. My name's Stefan. I'm here with Nick. Nick, how you going, mate?
Absolutely awesome, mate. And we've got a massive show ahead, the big 17 episodes.
Yes.
How it's flown by.
I can't believe it.
And, you know, we are the best podcast in all of Australia, maybe even the world.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, Australia definitely.
You know, we bring you all their special guests every week, this and that. And this week...
No one can match us, mate.
Well, this week we've got the one and only from Melbourne City.
Yes, Mr. Dario Vidosic.
Yes, huge. Awesome interview as well with him. He's very insightful.
Yeah,
you know,
real legend.
But stay tuned for that. But as always, let's kick it off with our...
Coach Killer of the Week.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Just before we start off with the Coach Killer, this is a repeat offender, I should say. They've been a Coach Killer previously, so this is their second time up.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit close to your heart, but give me a drum roll. And our Coach Killer of the Week is AS Roma.
Why are you having a go at my team for?
Oh, mate.
I thought we agreed that we'd never put our teams as our Coach Killers.
Oh, well, your team's been there. Manchester United's been there.
I know.
A few other teams. But
this is the second time.
AS Roma's come up again.
Yep.
They've had to be. Like,
Not good.
There's nothing... Are they in crisis? What's going on?
I think they are in crisis, it's fair to say. It's only been 5 games, though. But
Well, sitting in 14th, right?
Yeah. On
5 points from a
5
possible
points.
15.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, in certain games, things have happened, you know, with situations. They haven't played a full 90 minutes together yet, in my opinion, a proper one.
Mate, in their past 5 games, they've lost 4, drawn 1.
But that's with the friendly match against Benevento, which we won't count.
Who? Like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, whatever. They lost during the international break, but still. And now they've also blown 2-0 leads at halftime at their own home, right, at their home ground against Chievo and Atalanta. And what's going on?
I wish I could say. I mean,
is De Francesco the problem?
I don't think he's the problem.
Is Monchi the problem?
I don't think Monchi's the problem either. I honestly have got one batch of people to critic. It's the players, man. It's the players. It's the players. They're the ones that are, you know, listening to the boss during the week, training during the week, and they go out there and put performances in like that.
I mentioned this before the season start. How can a team that, you know, made the Champions League semi-finals go and sell all their top players and still compete? It's not possible, and it's showing.
The majority of Roma fans are like, oh, you know, it's Monchi's problem, it's the president. No, it isn't, because Alisson wanted to leave. Salah wanted to leave. Strootman...
Don't worry about Salah. Salah was gone.
Okay, but what I'm saying is Strootman wanted to leave. He agreed for the deal to Marseille. Yeah. Nainggolan was the one that they shouldn't have let go. Nainggolan was the one that didn't want to leave.
But that's 3 starters and quality players that have left your team. Yeah. And who have you replaced them with? Nzonzi? Like, all right.
Nzonzi, Pastore...
He's decent, but he couldn't hack it in the Premier League. He couldn't hack it in the, you know, at Sevilla.
Look...
Maybe the Italian league's a bit better for him, a bit slower.
I think it suits him, but
then you got Pastore as well, another filler player. Like,
look, the problem is, right, the problem is with the club. The club needs to understand that they're not in a position to fight for the title. They're not. If you look at the team like Napoli, look at their starting 11. They've got great players everywhere, right? But they don't sell their players. They don't sell... That's right. Their players don't agree to leave. Our players agree to leave.
Roma is the Arsenal of the Italian league.
I wouldn't say we are. We're selling to build a future.
But that's what Arsenal are doing. Right, I think they've changed their philosophy now.
You got to remember as well, a stadium's at the about to be approved for Roma to build.
You sound like an Arsenal fan, mate. This is what they were saying.
I know, but this is true. Look,
we've got a stadium to build. We've got
but
this
that's right.
And that.
But that's right. We have. Who's going to pay? Where's the money going to come from? The president's not that rich. He's not going to pay for everything.
Mate, put yourselves on the share market or something. Like
we are.
Get some investment in. You know.
Well, look, Roma are in retiro at the moment, which is when you come back from a game, you know, and the games haven't gone too well. They're staying at the home ground base in Rome there. Okay. So they've stayed there all week. And the big,
Well, they got 2 big matches coming up.
yeah, we've got Frosinone tomorrow and Lazio on the weekend, which is the derby. They're both derbies, actually, to be honest. So we'll see what happens. De Francesco said basically we'll see if the retiro worked against Frosinone. So he's basically saying that if they don't win that game, it's all over. He's out.
Well, losing to Bologna, what was it? You told me something a couple of days ago. Was that the first time in 20 years or something?
First time in 14 years that Roma's lost to Bologna.
That's right. And the president has come out and said, he's absolutely disgusted with the performance.
Yeah, which doesn't help things either. We'll see what happens. Look, I like the manager. I think he's the right manager for us. I hope they turn it around.
I think so too. Like, I agree with you. I think
if they
the
get
players
rid of
are the problem more than anything. Like, you've lost quality, haven't really replaced that quality.
That's
really.
right. I think if there's one sacrifice to make, I honestly think it has to be Monchi. But the thing is, if the coach goes, Monchi goes. So Roma will fall apart completely. The season's gone.
You've lost a lot of experience and gained and brought in a lot of inexperienced young players.
That's right. And they've got to understand that,
But, the next 3 games are at home.
Yeah.
They have to push and win if they want to turn the season around. Because after that, what's that, game week 7, 8, game week 8? And if they're still on 5 points...
it's all over, mate.
Time to throw in the towel, mate.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
But that's enough about bagging your team.
Thank God.
Putting you down. AS Roma, you're our coach killer of the week. Let's move on to game of the week.
Oh, you beauty! What a head, son! What a head!
Stefan, what was our game of the week this week?
Liverpool against PSG. What a game.
Ooh,
what
the Champions League battle.
It was intense. I tell you what, I don't support either of these teams, but I was looking with intrigue. It was ridiculous. So, Liverpool go up 2-0, right? At the start of the game, they're on fire, running through everywhere. PSG trying to find a response. They couldn't find one.
I can't believe Daniel Sturridge scored the first goal.
I know. That threw me off. I cannot believe he scored the first goal. That was ridiculous.
It ended up finishing 3-2 with a late goal.
From Firmino.
Yeah. Deserved?
Look, I think it should have been a draw. But I tell you what, they did well to win it. That's when you find out if a team's a real team and can win and beat the best, and they did. Credit to Liverpool. I want to actually, hang on, I want to ask you something. This is your opinion. Are Liverpool in running for the Champions League and Premier League double, considering the form they're in at the moment? Do you think they can win both?
Let me have a look through my sound effects wheel.
Oh, so no.
Definitely not in the running for both.
Oh, you're a savage, mate. You don't think that they can complete both?
It's just form, current form, and it's going to die out. They're not going to go on a run like Man City last season. So even Man City's look shaky, right? The race is wide open. Still too early. Liverpool's Liverpool's luck is coming to an end very soon.
Think their luck's... You've been saying that for the last 2 weeks now.
That's right. If they've still got, getting the results by, game week 10, at the end of game week 10 or 11...
You'll concede title defeat. No,
not title defeat, but I'll concede that they've improved and are better.
Ooh, all right. Watch that space.
Well, are better than they were last season. We'll see.
So moving on from that, let's look at some of the results over the week. Unbelievable results happening, left, right and centre. Let's start with your mob, Manchester United, drawing
Wolves have
to
turned
Wolverhampton
it around.
Wanderers.
Wolves have turned it around. Got a draw against United, got a draw against City as well.
That's right.
They're looking the real deal.
And what about...
stay up from relegation?
Yeah, and what about this morning? Being knocked out by Derby County on penalties. I know it's the Carabao Cup.
I don't really know what to make of it.
Yeah.
We did just field a very, decent side. It wasn't, second stringers.
Yeah.
Maybe the players weren't motivated to win the Carabao Cup. I don't know.
Possibly.
Mourinho even said in his interview, he's like, we wanted to win, but at the end of the day, it's the lesser of the League Cups, and it's not fast.
You shouldn't be focusing on it. Correct.
These things happen.
Correct.
Derby, like Lampard's first game against his old manager.
Yeah, it's great for him. It's good to have in his CV.
They probably wanted it more.
Yeah, of course. That's for them is like woof,
But what about Manchester City losing to Lyon in Champions League?
I know. When I saw that, I was like, what the hell? What happened here?
Well, they lost 2-1. I can't believe it. And then Lyon back it up by pumping Marseille 4-2.
either Lyon's in stunning form or Man City are a big pretender when it comes to Champions Leagues. I think a bit of both, to be honest.
Possibly.
Man City, we've seen it previously, you know. They can't compete when it comes to Europe. They just can't.
Is Barcelona's draw a bigger deal than Man City?
Not really. I mean, Barcelona's...
At home at the Nou Camp.
I know they drew 2-2 with Girona at home, Barcelona.
With Messi
but
in your team. Oof.
Look...
And you're drawing to...
I know,
a
but...
Benevento of...
of Spain.
Of Spain.
I think Man City's way worse because they've bluffed everyone again into thinking they're a Champions League contender when clearly they're...
Like Liverpool, I'm telling you now.
Pretty much.
But also, Monaco this morning lost to Angers.
Yeah, 1-0. Who the hell's Angers? It's Angers, by the way.
I would say Angers.
Say Angers. Go.
I'm not French. But yeah, they lost 1-0. They're supposed to be a contender for that French title, or at least,
or at least pushing,
But,
Angers.
they went down. But the biggest news of this morning's games was Inter beating Fiorentina.
Please.
I know you're not convinced, but that's a good result for Inter there.
It's a great result for Inter. You know, they're worse
Especially
than a bank account because they go up and down every week.
Especially after they beat Tottenham in the Champions League as well with 2 late winners.
Mate, you can't keep this up.
I think
they won this morning with three shots on target and they had a penalty,
Inter's
obviously.
slowly becoming my favourite Italian side, slowly.
Get out of the studio right now.
But, why aren't you convinced? Why?
Because, like I said, 3 shots on target this morning. Clearly Fiorentina were all over them like a bad rash for most of the game. You've got guys like Icardi, right? This big star for Inter Milan. He scored his first goal of the season now. It's match day 5 and you're a striker. That's world class.
He scored in the Champions League too, mate. First Champions League goal.
Come on. Big Inter, you know, always the big talk and then they let you down. I don't think nothing of it.
And then you got Bayern Munich also drawing against Augsburg.
That was ridiculous.
This morning too. What is going on?
Mate, this week's been the week of death.
That's why I'm not fussed. United getting out of the Carabao Cup, whatever. You know, all
it's
big
the Carabao
teams
Cup.
That's
right.
right.
I know.
And then
Who the hell's Carabao?
If Werder Bremen, win this, I think tonight.
Yeah,
they
can go joint top.
Yeah, joint top.
Yeah, that'll be ridiculous, mate. Can you believe Werder Bremen pushing?
But I don't see Munich dropping.
Oh, you never know. Look, who knows? Maybe they're sick of it, Bayern. Maybe they want the Champions League more. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, true. But some FA Cup matches.
Yeah, FFA. Spit it out, go.
FFA Cup matches.
That's it. Apia against Adelaide is the first one tonight. Who do you think's going to win?
Oh, I don't know. Apia's been impressive.
They're the giant killers, mate, this season.
But I think Adelaide will get the job done.
No, I'm going with Apia. Go Apia.
Also, we've got Bentley Greens versus Heidelberg.
Yeah, what a clash for the local Victorian clubs.
It is a very, very
big
clash.
game.
Bentley Greens all the way. They've just signed Ivan Franjić's brother.
Really?
Joseph, he's just signed up for Bentley Greens.
Let's hope we can get him on and he can give a better interview than his brother did.
No, we're just joking, Ivan. Speaking of interviews, this week we got to sit down with Dario Vidosic and this is how our interview went.
Today's special guest is a Socceroo and has played internationally in the Bundesliga and Swiss Pro League. Please welcome from Melbourne City, Dario Vidosic.
Dario, it's absolutely fantastic to have you on, mate. How are you going?
Good, thank you, guys. How are you?
Yeah, mate, we're great. Thank you again for coming on.
Not a problem.
So let's just kick this off, Dario, and, I want to ask, what made you fall in love with the game and, what made you want to get into football?
I think just from a very, very young age, it was always football, and I was always with the football and following my dad, and when he was playing, and I'd be on the backfields, playing with my friends or kids from the opposition club. So it was always all my pretty much childhood memories from a young age is always revolving around football, and I used to really watch the 1990 World Cup. So I had that on in VHS, and then the 94 World Cup, and so it was always just rewinding that back and watching it and rewinding it back, and then also the 98 where Croatia done really well and staying up and watching, so yeah.
Oh yeah, so, you would have been happy with Croatia's performance in the World Cup.
Yeah, that was also another great one, so it's awesome, I think, to show that such a small nation can achieve such great success, and I think it just gives, hope for the rest of the world competing against the big nations. So it shows that it is possible to do it. So I think even Australia can see that, with the talent, how they produce that talent, even for such a very small country, it's possible.
Yeah, definitely. So who was your favourite player growing up? Did you have a role model or anyone that you based your game on?
Again, it's. I went from the 1990 World Cup, so I was probably about 3-ish at the time. Probably I started watching it on the VHS, probably at 4 or 5, and I watched that. And Roberto Baggio, he was my favourite, and my parents even told me I would go around telling people he was my uncle and that. So I loved him that much when I was a kid because, he was just phenomenal at that World Cup. And that was my highlights that stuck from there, especially that goal that he scored when he went from pretty much halfway.
That was amazing.
And
the goal that he missed in the World Cup final, eh?
So, then obviously over time it was always I liked Ronaldo, the Brazilian, phenomenal. So he was one that I liked a lot. Patrick Kluivert. I was more a striker when I was younger, so
okay.
It was always more the strikers and the attacking players. But I just in general love football, and I remember on the World Game when they'd have that whole Sunday broadcast and waiting for that highlights package.
Yeah, like all of us.
So we'd be sitting there waiting for it to start, then press record, and then I'd rewind it, watch it, and then just pretty much everything to do with football, and just I think with everyone.
Dario, we know you were part of the AIS. How was that experience for you, and how do you rate their program compared to the FFA structure now with the NPL?
It's actually hard to say because I only got in late into the AIS, so I was in I never really made QASs. I was never part of that. I sort of, during when it was my initial intake for my age group, I didn't make AIS because obviously I wasn't even in the QAS. At 16, I wasn't really playing I made the state team for the first time in a couple of years. So, because I was a bit more of a late developer, and so I wasn't too long. I was only about 6 months, and I went there as part of, I signed then already for the second season of the A-League. And I was more with the current Under-20 World Cup. We used AIS as preparations for our Asian Cup to qualify for the Under-20 World Cup. So, I sort of missed out on all those things as a kid. So I had to sort of go the hard way to be a professional, and which was probably made me work hard. And I already had those setbacks as a younger kid that I sort of learned and overcame at a younger age, which was at the time was heartbreaking, I must admit. And it's never easy as a kid not making, especially when I was younger. I was one of the first ones picked and performing well, and at under 12s I was captaining teams, and then I think just as that, you're smaller, it's harder to compete, you're not as fast, you're not as physical, but I think it was a blessing in disguise where that made me have to figure out other ways to play against the bigger and quicker boys. So I had to try to think quicker, I had to do all that. So then when I grew up and I was physically physically able to compete against them, strength-wise, speed-wise, and all that sort of stuff. Then the football, because I was doing years and years more of on the mental and technical and all those aspects where perhaps they didn't need to use that, the quicker boys, where it was just easy, put it past me and you're gone. And so I think it might have been a bit of a blessing as well that I was able to almost had to try to overcome all those obstacles and learn a different way to play.
Well, you got there in the end, which is great. But who's had the most influence on your career?
I'd have to say my dad and my family, and we're a tight knit family. We left Croatia when I was very young, and my father moved over here to try to give us a better life and for an opportunity that he had also with football. So it was just my mum, my sister. My sister was born in Australia. I was born in Croatia, and it's just been us four for a long time, and the rest of our families back in Croatia and in Europe. And but I was always in the house kicking a ball. My parents probably weren't too happy about that, and breaking the palings in the backyard. But they spent a lot of time with me, driving me to trainings, to games, to go to clinics, to whatever it was at the time that we had.
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome, that your parents supported you and took you to training and things like that. It couldn't have been easy for them.
Yeah, that's it. It's definitely not easy for them. It was in a lot of the camps. They all cost money, so my parents done their hardest to make sure that I never missed out on those things. But I can only imagine now that I've gotten older and you you sort of do realise how hard it would have been, and we're obviously very grateful for it.
Dario, look, we know that your dad was an assistant at then Queensland Roar, which is now Brisbane Roar. Do you think this helped you with your progression?
Well, when I we went through Cavendish Road State High School in Brisbane, which is like a soccer school of excellence. So we'd have like 6 periods a week of football. So and my dad was there as the head of the football department. So then obviously as a soccer school, that's the only place I really wanted to go. And so I went 5 years. I'd done high school with dad there. So if you can survive that, it's then after that it's quite easy. But no, it was awesome. And then in that transitional period from the NSL to the A League, where there was the old 2 or 3 years, or however long it was, probably that 2-ish year mark, where we were at the Lions, and then I went there through the youth system and worked my way into the first team. And then as I got to the first team, that's when the A League formed, and it was more through that the Queensland Lions, and then that obviously became the Queensland Roar, and then after that first season, that's when I went to the IS for a little while, and then came back and then started for the second season. But it was obviously awesome to have my dad there and to help me, and with Miron as well for giving me the chance and letting me play. And it was just it was an awesome time, and I really enjoyed it. We had a great team and great bunch of guys who looked after me. And in my year, I had Ante Milicic up front, and to learn of someone that was like a hero for me when I was younger, watching Sydney United and that. So it was awesome to have someone like that we were playing in a similar position, and that you can learn so much from.
Yeah, it's great. Having someone like that there to teach you and be sort of a role model is fantastic. But who would you say is the toughest player you've played against?
I think there's always, in Germany, especially when you played against the Bayern Munich's, the Stuttgart, so coming up against Kadir at times, and then Van Boyten, who's a monster. He was a big guy. So, it's different challenges every week. So Van Boyten's very, very big, very strong. But then you might come up against another one that's very quick. So then you got to adapt. And even Bart Schenkerveld at Melbourne City is a very, very tough defender, because he's very strong and he's very, very quick as well. So he's also a very tough matchup, and I enjoy going against him, because it's obviously gonna, if you're going against someone like that, it's a very, very good defender, it's only going to help you. So I think everywhere you go, I've been lucky enough to be challenged by great defenders, whether that was in Switzerland or in Germany with the national team, and likewise in the A-League.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot tougher in Europe, I'm guessing. How would you say the pressure in Europe from the players is different to the players here in the A-League or things like that?
You mean just what the defenders can put on you? Yeah,
pretty much. How tough is it playing here in the A-League compared to Europe?
Yeah, I think it's just probably the experience and what, their youth, how they've been developed, and also they've got clubs of vast amounts of money where they can bring in very, very good players as well. So I think we've seen with a couple that have come over. So Del Pierre, that played at Melbourne Victory, how good he was as a central defender. Now we've had a couple more this season that we'll get a look at tomorrow night from Western Sydney with Ziegler. So and now Melbourne Victory have also brought in another, I think, German defender, if I'm not wrong. So they've proven themselves even in the A-League when they come across that they're very good, and so then we can only really imagine what the Boatengs and these likes of players from the Bayerns and from the Dortmunds and the ones that are towards the top. But I think they if we look at the depth of that German national team, even their second team is unbelievable with the youth and the talent. So they've got a factory where they're just making these kids, and and I think just their depth of not just defenders but midfielders and goalkeepers. They've had an unbelievable record of having unbelievable goalkeepers. So
very true.
These are as a growing football country. These are things we need to look at and see what they do right. Same with the likes of Croatia as a smaller country, how they're doing it, and if we can take a little bit from everyone and then create our own, and then we need to stick to that and try to develop the players here too.
Very good way to look at it, Dario.
If there was one team, Dario, you could play for in Europe, who would it be?
Barcelona. That's my team.
So you follow Barcelona then?
Yeah, that's my I think my first jersey I had was a Laudrup jersey. There was Barcelona, so there's always been that sort of that love for Barcelona. And then when Ronaldo was there, Maradona was there, which was probably I was a little bit too young for that, but with Ronaldo and then as Pep came in and followed their B team, and with Messi when he started as well, and us being at the same age, you know, it's just incredible the things that he was doing. And so I've always been I feel the most when Barcelona play. Like there's a bit of nervousness when they play. That you want them to win, and so that's sort of been there from a childhood. So.
Speaking of Barcelona, you got to meet Pep Guardiola a few weeks ago. How was that experience?
Yeah, it was a bit surreal, you know, when you were there, and then we were told beforehand that he's coming, and it's like, well, you know, tomorrow night he'll be there, and we'll have a meet and greet, and you know, someone that I would love to be a coach as well. So it's someone you sort of look up to and aspire to be as good as him. And I really admire the type of football he plays, like in Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Also from, watching when he was with the B team and following that as well as much as I could back then, which was a bit harder because now it's much easier with the internet to pretty much follow every league in the world. And, but yeah, just someone that's, you know, I think he's taken football now to another level. And
yeah, definitely has.
You can see now, even in the English Premier League, where the lower teams are playing out from the back. I watched Juventus Sassuolo, and you know, Sassuolo playing no problem.
They played well, didn't they?
They played very well. So that was, you know, I was watching that. I'm like, you know, you can see that it's sort of that effect's taken over. And I know in Germany as well, with a lot of those younger coaches are taking many aspects from Pep, and so he sort of revolutionised the game. And with the Premier League now, with Sarri coming to Chelsea, Klopp going to Liverpool, Pochettino, Tottenham, and then we saw Wolves, they're keeping now 65-70% possession and doing very well for a team that just came up. And so I think it's sort of, it's changing the game. And I think a lot of that comes down to Pep and what he was able to achieve at Barcelona and then at Bayern and now obviously with Manchester City.
Dario, when your career is all said and done, what is the one achievement you would like to have alongside your name?
I'd like to have A-League champion. So that's the goal now. So that's definitely the goal to be now is, and also it would be nice now because we're playing the FFA Cup, so it'd be awesome to have also FFA Cup champion. So
you guys are doing really well.
Yeah, I think so too. We've been working hard, and we're looking forward to tomorrow's challenge against West Sydney. We haven't seen much of them, and it's now the first time we'll come up against them, and they've got a new coach, and so we're a bit we're unsure of what they're going to bring, but you know we've prepared well. We'll play our football where we left off last season, and we've improved on that. So you know, again, it's a knockout competition. It's been a great platform for us in the pre-season to have these competitive games and the cutthroat of cup games. It's win or go home, so we're looking to extend it. We want to get into the semi-final, and then you know we've given ourselves a great chance to bring more silverware to the club. But I think also we've got that one eye where we're really eager for the A-League to begin. It's long pre-season, so
very long.
and with the derby, and you know everyone's sort of looking a victory with the players they brought in. So we're looking forward to the challenge, and we're eager to kick off the season as well.
Well, definitely, you guys are in prime form to go through. But we just heard this morning that Richie DeLatte has joined Melbourne City. What are your thoughts on having him as a teammate? Yeah,
definitely. He'll bring experience and quality to the team, and he's a great guy as well. He's already settled into the team like he's been here already with us for about a year. So,
does he play tonight?
Not too sure. I think he'll be with the team. So I'm not sure what the boss will decide. So maybe he looked at everyone today at training, and then that's up to the boss then tomorrow to make that decision. But I'm pretty sure he's fit and he looks good at training, so I'm sure he'll be putting his hand up to play for tomorrow. Yeah, well, look, he's a great acquisition for Melbourne City as he brings a winning mentality, obviously, from England and all the other leagues he's played in.
And he has a lot of experience.
Yeah, he does, 100%. And also he brings that, he's a winner. He's won the Premier League, so he'll bring that winning mentality, and he's a great person for a lot of the kids as well to learn off. And you know, you don't play that long in the Prem and Manchester United if you don't have the right professionalism and the right mindset. Exactly. So he's also a good guy for us to have in the change room, and also for the young kids to learn from.
Yeah, fantastic. Dario, Melbourne City has bolstered in in transfers, and so has Melbourne Victory.
Yeah, what is the plan, Dario, to be the Kings of Melbourne?
Yeah, that's right. You got the arch rival up in the first round.
I don't think we're looking to be the Kings of Melbourne. We're more our focus is on being the Kings of the A-League. We want to, we feel as though we can match with anyone, and when we play at our best, that it'll be very, very difficult to deal with us. So we've put together games where we've probably been 45 minutes, very, very good, 50 minutes, and now it's more where we're working, we're developing, we're trying to influence the game for longer periods. And I think if we can do that, then we'll really put teams to the sword, and we can put a few more goals away, because we've got goals in the front, especially with Bruno, who we've seen can produce magic and score beautiful goals, and with the volley in the cup, also the finish outside the box, and we've got other goal scorers as well. So we'll all play our part I want Bruno to have his record back off Bobo, so we'll do the best we can to set him up as many goals as possible, but
and Dario Vidosic as well.
Yeah, so I'll try to chip in there with the goals and try to help the team. But as long as we're winning and we all play our part, I don't think no one will be too upset about who's scoring the goals.
Definitely.
Well, look, Dario, thanks for your time, mate. You've been an absolute legend, and good luck for the upcoming season. We'll definitely speak to you soon, I hope.
Yeah, we hope to have you on during the season and get your thoughts on a few things.
Not a problem. Hopefully we're many points clear.
Yeah,
then it'll be an easy chat.
You've been an absolute superstar.
Take care, mate.
See you, buddy.
No worries. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.
What an awesome interview that was.
Unbelievable. He's a great sport, I tell you what, mate.
And being so close, with his dad, and his dad having a lot of influence on his career.
Yep.
Great insight on, what it took for him to become the ultimate professional and, play in the A-League and play, in the Swiss League and in the Bundesliga.
I particularly liked how he said about, the current structure with the FFA and how the Australian Institute of Sport as well, the comparisons between them and which avenue he took, which was good.
No, very, very good insight. Thank you, Dario Vidosic. You're a superstar, mate.
Yep.
But it's time to move on to Fan Talk for this week.
When my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
Yes, Fan Talk. I love Fan Talk, Nick. I love it.
I know it's your favourite.
It's on fire this week.
A few questions this week.
Yep.
But let's kick off with our first one.
Yes, our first question, Nick, is from Chris_Balutsis. I personally thought Ronaldo deserved the red card, but what is your opinion?
What a moment that was,
I know.
really, just to see it.
That was the biggest
I've never seen anything like that.
Me neither.
It was the biggest dive.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely not a red card.
So,
how the hell does this guy think it's a red card?
What did Ronaldo get the red card for? Was it for the tackle, or was it for touching the other player on the head?
It was touching the player in the head, I believe.
Right, so that's what he got it for.
Yeah. That is
I can
ridiculous.
understand, you're not supposed to touch anyone, but there was no force, there was no, malice or anything.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? It's get up and move on. It's the same as when other players, when they're on the ground, rolling around, they're in pain, they grab them to try and lift them up.
Standards.
You know what I mean? It's the same sort of thing, but just because he touched the head, protected zone or whatever.
So either this guy has not watched the match or he's a Valencia fan, one of the two, because I don't know how you can think that's a red card.
No, it's a good question.
It is a good question, but how you can think it's a red card is ridiculous.
I can see both sides of the argument. Personally, I don't think it was. A bit soft.
It's a very soft. It's definitely not even a yellow. It's just a ref.
It's a yellow.
No, it's not.
It's a yellow.
The ref, all the ref had to do was go in there.
It has to be a yellow. How can it not be a yellow?
Mate, in Italy 2 weeks ago, guys spat on another player, right? Gets a red, and you're given a red for some guy that patted
that's right.
That is ridiculous.
All right, it's not a red, but it's a yellow.
Red.
You can't touch players like that. Come on. It's a different time.
Okay.
Maybe, 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's
when
right.
They were
when there was Roy Keane
when they were lunging in with studs up and everything.
Yeah, Mr. Roy Keane.
Times have changed.
Yes.
Our next question. Go for it.
Yep, Damiano.cnt. This guy always keeps popping up, by the way.
I want to meet you one day, Damiano.
That's it. How long till the special one gets sacked? Zidane is patiently waiting.
Well, we've had it. Robbie Trash also asked the same question, why isn't Marino sacked?
Yeah, so we'll answer both your questions.
Why does he need to be sacked? Just because we drew to Wolves, a team who bolstered with,
I think it's because
quality players, right?
Yeah.
And who took City to a draw as well.
Yeah,
right?
with the offside goal there, though.
I know Robbie, I've seen his profile. He's a big Liverpool supporter there, so I think it's a bit of bias.
Yeah, 100%.
But you know what I mean. There's no reason to sack.
So to answer
the greatest coach going around at the moment.
So you don't think these inconsistencies in, week out, not being able to back up wins constantly like you were before, is a big red flag for them to sack him? You know what I mean? Let's say you win, draw, win, draw. Where does that leave you guys as a club?
Well, look, if there's no improvement on last season, or we're worse off than we were last season, maybe it is time to let him go, but not at game week 6 or 7, whatever.
So you think give him till the end of the season?
Of course, you can't unless we go on like a 10-game losing streak.
Unless you become like Roma.
Yeah, or like we become like Roma.
Oh my god.
Then I'd say, maybe call for his head. But it's Jose Mourinho. He knows what he's doing. He's won titles all around the world. He's won more than Klopp and Guardiola put together.
Okay.
Right? Give the man some space, instead of criticising him and saying Pogba wants to leave and they hate each other.
And Zidane, Zidane's waiting.
Well, Zidane's gone and spoken to David Beckham's MLS team.
Oh, okay.
Miami.
So Beckham's doing you guys a favour by getting...
Well, apparently he's going to go and coach in Miami, so we'll see how that goes. But, Mourinho's here to stay. Okay. He's going to win titles.
There you have it, guys. Mourinho's here to stay. And our last question comes from Liam_Priv15. What do you think about Liverpool's season start?
Okay, great question.
Thank you, Liam.
We get these Liverpool questions a lot.
Every week.
But I touched on it a bit before. I think it's all luck at the moment.
So you think
no substance?
No substance.
I feel like there's going to come a point in the next couple of weeks where they're going to start going on the decline, and the cream will rise to the top. All the other teams.
Does that start with
surpass.
This weekend? Or?
Well, this week they got a massive game, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
So you think it's a bluff?
I think it's a bluff. Actually, let's talk about it right now. They got Chelsea twice. They got him in the League Cup.
Yeah.
And then they got him in
the League Cup tomorrow and the Premier League over the weekend.
Two games. So depending, will they field the same teams? This will be interesting to compare how they approach the games. We'll do this next week. But our game of the week next week will be Liverpool and Chelsea. Yeah.
What's your
top
tip,
of the
quickly?
table clash?
What's your tip?
I think it's going to be a draw.
I'm going with Chelsea. I think Chelsea will wreck them.
I don't see anyone winning. I think it's just going to be a draw.
Okay. Maybe you're hoping for the draw.
I hope. Chelsea, I think, will win in the League Cup. I don't think Liverpool will.
Okay.
Be in it to win it. Yeah. Really. Much like United today. But I think it'll be a draw. Top of the table clash, very interesting. I can't wait. Yeah. And if Liverpool lose, that's just a bonus, mate.
And that's been Fan Talk.
Yes.
We've also got some big games coming up this week.
Yeah, another top of the table clash.
Yeah.
Mate,
this is ridiculous.
How weird is it that it works
these games? I'm shaking.
You got Juve and Napoli, top of the table in the Serie A.
I want Napoli to
As we mentioned, Liverpool and Chelsea, top of the table clash. Game of the week next week. We've got a massive, massive derby. The team that lost to Bologna. Roma versus Lazio.
Yeah.
Who's the bigger team, Stefan?
Oh, come on,
I think Lazio, mate.
Get out of here.
They're going to show their substance. Oh. We also got another derby.
Yeah, in Madrid.
Yeah, the Madrid derby. Real versus Atletico.
Yeah.
That should be a very good game.
Yeah, they're all going to be great games, I'm sure.
So they're the ones to look forward to this coming weekend.
Yeah.
So not the midweek game weeks, but this coming weekend.
And that pretty much wraps up our episode 17. Don't forget, guys, to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, iTunes and Spotify, all at Coach Killers Podcast.
And also, on a Sunday morning, after a big night of partying, dancing, listening to the Coach Killers Podcast, when the Jehovah's come and knock on your door, tell them the good word. The Coach Killers Podcast is absolutely amazing, and tell them to check it out. They won't regret it. And as always, you have all been great, and we've been the Coach Killers Podcast. Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Lazio Merda.